Hello and welcome to our webinar, What's New in TT Performance Suite 2020 R2. My name is Stefan Hilbrand. I'm from the product management team of TTS, and I will present you the new features and news around the TT Performance Suite 2020 R2 in this webinar today. With me in this webinar are my colleagues Christian Engel and Harald Stoll. Christian is from the Customer Success Management team and will take care of your questions, and Harald will introduce the new TTPS University and the news around the TTPS University to you. Christian, would you like to introduce yourself first?
Thank you very much, Stefan. Welcome from my side, everyone. As Stefan just mentioned, I'm here today to take care of your questions. So if you have any, please use the chat box in the control panel of GoToWebinar. So your question will appear on my screen and I can hand it over to Stefan or Harald in the respective moment.
Okay, thank you, Christian. Harald, would you like to say a few words about yourself as well?
Yes, my name is Harald Stoll and I'm also from the product management team of TTS, and I am responsible for the TTPS University, for the old version and also for the new one, and I want to give you some insights today, and we will have a look at the new appearance of the TTPS University in this webinar in the second part.
Okay. Thank you, Christian and Harald. And then let's start with the news and the new features around the TT Performance Suite 2020 R2. As you know, and as you know from the previous webinars we had for the previous versions, the TTPS is all around the whole content lifecycle. So beginning with the production of content, with the curation and management of, for example, e-learning items, step lists, or documentation. Of course, with it is the important part of the whole content lifecycle is the usage of the content, either in the quick access or within our publisher. And last but not least, the monitoring of the success of the content you created. Does the content really, or is the content really be seen by the right audience, and is the right content created for the audience you have? That is all possible with the TT Performance Suite. With the 2020 R2 release, we are focusing a bit on the production part, especially with the new creator. The creator is our new way for let you create step-by-step instructions in a quite quick and easy manner. So you can start the creator directly from the quick access and create step lists in a very quick and easy way. And if you are used to the old guide creator we previously had to achieve this goal, to create content directly from the quick access, you might know that with the old guide creator, it was only possible to upload this content to the publisher and directly to the publisher, and therefore then publish it directly to the quick access and the publisher. From now on, with the new creator, it is possible to upload the content to the workbench and therefore use the full power of the TTPS workbench with all its workflow functionality and all the little tools you have within the workbench, and of course the possibility to link your content to the structuring elements like processes, courses, or topics. This gives you a totally new way and a totally new options in using your content created with the creator within your existing environment and within your existing structure of courses, topics, and processes. Since you might know, when it comes to the workbench, properties and the definition of documents it depends, of course, on your specific environment, but can be quite complex. There might be a lot of properties a user has to fill in to create or upload a document. To make this easy, and to make this easy especially for end users, if you want to use the creator to create user-generated content, we created something that we call property templates, so you can define defaults for certain kinds of properties that are always be set automatically as soon as you upload a new piece of content from within the creator. But let's not talk too much about it, but rather show it how it works, because I think you can better see what the creator is capable of by giving you a short example. As we are all working, or most of us are working from our remote offices from at home at the moment due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we at TTS make a lot of use of the tool called Miro. So it's a digital whiteboard tool and a collaboration tool where members of a team can collaborate in real time on a whiteboard as if they were standing in front of a real physical whiteboard. And when I work with Miro in these days, I often wonder, how do I share this board with my colleagues, and how do I invite colleagues to collaborate on this board now? And then when I sit in front of a piece of software and wonder how to achieve a task, I do what I always do in that cases. I click on our little orange, not twice, that was too fast, just once. And then the quick access opens and gets the content of Miro. And in that case, unfortunately, no one of my colleagues has yet created any content to Miro. So nobody tells me how to share a Miro board with my colleagues and how to invite them to collaborate. Well, I guess some of my colleagues are having the same struggles, and therefore I want to be so nice and create some piece of content for them that if they have the same question as I had now, are able to find some content and to achieve their goal. Therefore, I just double click on this orange, and then our new creator window opens. At first, just this little recording toolbar to set your focus on recording the new content. So I will just record a few steps to explain how to share such a Miro board. So I click on, you see I have this little green frame that shows me the object I would currently record as soon as I click. So now I click on the share button. I just set some rights that my colleagues can do here. And I click on this copy link to get the link to my clipboard. And I think that's enough to explain to my colleagues how such a board should be shared. And now I stop the recording by again clicking on the recorder button. And you can see that the editor window opens with the steps I just performed recorded in it. So I can now enrich this step-by-step instruction by giving it a meaningful title, like how to share a Miro board, by adding some description. Of course, if the automatically generated texts I have here in my steps wouldn't be expressive enough, I could add some additional information by inserting text and of course formatting text, but I think they are quite straightforward in that case. With the click instructions I've got, I just add another step to explain to my colleagues that they need to paste the link they now have in their clipboard. And that's it. That's a small instruction, a small guide, a small help for my colleagues to find the way on how to share such a board if they struggle with the same situation as I did. If you remember the old creator, now you had to save this document and afterwards click on the upload button and upload it to the publisher. Then you had to log in again, and it was a bit of a complicated process to actually get there that the document was uploaded. It's way easier in the new creator. So you just go to the sidebar here. The sidebar automatically opens when you hover over it with the mouse. If you want to have it fixed, you can just check this little checkbox down below and the sidebar stays open even if you move the mouse away. and then you click on upload document, and this little upload window opens. And as you can see, this upload window here is now really lean with only very few information that is asked for. In that case, only the author name that is not filled in yet. I just add my own name as the author name. The context is filled in automatically by the information I recorded. And then I can hit this little upload button, and my just created step list is uploaded to the server. So we just go back to our Miro board, and if I now open the quick access and focus Miro again, you can see that my step list is immediately there. It's there underneath the performance support category user generated content. And here is the step list I just created with the title how to share a Miro board. And as soon as I open it, I see all the instructions I just recorded. As you might be used to, you can click on the images to see where on the screen the interaction was and where it appeared. And you can navigate through all the steps and see how to perform the task you need to perform. So why is this content now directly published, and why were there only such a few information I needed to enter within the upload dialog? That's of course because of the already mentioned property templates. I can define them within the settings view of the workbench under this point here, define template. And as soon as I hit the button of edit template here, you can see the template I defined before within the workbench. So I set that the workflow action for each and every piece of content that is created with the creator will be set to release immediately when the document is uploaded. So therefore, I decided that any content that is uploaded from the creator is released immediately. If you don't want that the content that is maybe created by your users is released immediately, but you rather wanted to go through a certain process of quality assurance, you can of course define that the workflow action is set, for example, to review. It of course depends on the workflow you have defined. Or you can even define that it isn't preset at all and therefore needs to be set by the user while uploading. That of course more is a better idea if you have more experienced users and users which are experienced with creating content than if you really want to use the creator for your end users to create content. If you want end users really to create content, we would recommend to set as many properties as possible in this predefined dialog so that your users are really capable of quick and easy create and upload such a step list. So I defined some other options here as well, like the configuration is preset, the document type is preset, that it will be marked as a new document is preset. And therefore, all these properties are not asked in the upload dialog again to be entered by the user and are preset during the upload instead. That's also the reason why it is listed underneath this performance support category of user-generated content. That, of course, is predefined as well. You know the dialog already. It's here within the default values dialog of the performance support categories. You can define that step lists created with the creator are sent to a specific performance support category. I now define that they should be to that sent to that category of user-generated content, so that an end user, if he is coming in such a situation and there is content that was created by your professional authors and there is content that was created by his fellow colleagues, he can see on the first glimpse if this is authorized content from a real author and which is quality assured by the department, or if it's just some piece of quick help from his colleagues. As I already mentioned, this document is now stored within the workbench. So I can find this document within the workbench, and I can use this document like I would use any other workbench document. So I can, for example, select this document, copy it, and paste it in some topic. I've got a topic called the new normal here, and I can paste it here. And now this step list, this step-by-step instruction appears underneath this topic. And if we go to the preview and just have a look into it, you can see that there is now the possibility to start the step-by-step guide from this topic. That wasn't possible with guides created with the old creator, and that is now a huge advantage you have when creating content with the new creator, that you can just use it like any other content you have within the workbench. Yeah, if you need to edit the content, it's of course working like with any other content as well. Just click on the edit button, the document is checked out. You can download the document in that case, open it with the creator again, and afterward upload it again. So you are capable of just editing the content like you would edit any other content as well. I just undo the checkout here to show you how you can change things when it comes to properties. When you go to the property dialog, you see all the things I just entered. So the title and the description I just entered while creating this step list, as well as everything that was preset. The configuration was preset. The new document status was preset. I entered the author. The QA context was generated automatically. But now, after it is once uploaded, you can, of course, change all these properties like you are used to. You can, of course, as well change the performance support category of this specific document. It uses now the default value, which is user-generated content as shown before. But you can, of course, switch the category to maybe better fit your needs if it was maybe first created by a user, and after the quality assurance process of your department, you want to add it to the kind of curated content you offer your users. You can, of course, switch this category. So, are there any questions regarding the creator?
Yes, there are, but first of all, let's get to the nitty-gritty, a very general question. When will the new release be available?
Oh, I would have come to this later, but the new release will be available by the end of November. So we're now doing this webinars with a bit of preliminary time before that. You have the time to inform yourself about the creator, about the news, and we will release the release by the end of November.
All right, thank you. So now let's go on with questions regarding the new creator. So is there anything more created in terms of output formats than the step list we have just seen?
No. The creator now in the first step is just for creating step-by-step instructions. So that's the output that is created in that case. So you're not capable of creating rich e-learning content or any HTML documentation with that. It really is designed in the first step to create those step-by-step instructions. But we are very keen on to get to know about your usage scenarios as soon as you start to use the creator. So please give us your feedback if you or when you start using the creator, and tell us what features you are missing, because of course we want to further enhance the creator in the future releases.
Thank you so much. Then we just saw that after you had finished creating your step list, you entered your author name manually into that dialog. Is there any way that you could probably pre-fill it with, for example, the username you're logged on?
Well, there is already stored the information of the user which created this thing within the access log you can see here. So this is really the information coming from the user. The author in that case is really just a text field which can be filled, or where you can decide that you don't want to show it at all. At the moment, we don't pre-fill this field when creating documents from the creator with any name from the username. But of course, if this is a feature you are missing or you are needing, we are willing to consider it in the future release.
Thank you for clarifying this. And can you control who can view the created content? For example, just one, it's available to one specific department only, for instance.
Not on a document by document base, but of course you can control it by setting the document type in the template. When you define the document type here, you can of course define that you only want a certain kind of document type to be available here. And with a document type, you can or you can set the access rights of a user according to each document type, and therefore can decide which user is able to see that content. But it's more on a general level and not on a document by document level.
All right. And on the other hand, can you just restrict which users can create, in fact, new content from the creator?
Of course. It's the users that should, or that you intend that they use the creator need at least the right to create documents within the creator, and they need at least the right to log into the workbench and to create a document within the specific document type you define for the creator to be able to upload such documents. So each and every user that you don't give those rights won't be capable of adding any documents with the creator to your system.
All right, thank you so much. No more questions for the moment.
Okay, so we continue with some other features. And the next little thing I want to show you is a smart component called Blur. And as the name already says, the smart component called Blur is there for blurring areas of your e-learning, and if you have sensitive content within your e-learning, to blur certain kinds of, for example, personal information you recorded with. This smart component is already available. It's already available, and it's even working with the 2020 release yet, but we haven't shown it yet in any webinar. So I just want you to give you a demo on how it works and what it can, or what you can achieve by using this component. And therefore we show it now. And of course, I'll give you a little example of how it works. So we switch to the TTKF here, and I prepared a little document. So I just recorded a few steps within the HR master data of SAP. And if you want to, for example, explain how to display those master data, you of course need to record within this system. And then the system, of course, shows some of the HR master data already in the recorded screens. And if you don't want your users and your learning target group to see those informations, you are now capable to blur them by using the respective smart component, and it just works by inserting such kind of component. It's called, of course, blur, and just place this rectangle and adjust the size over the content you want to blur. So I just select the name here, and I think the birth date is kind of sensitive content as well. So I add another blur rectangle and put it over the birth date below, and just adjust the size here as well. And so now you can just start the content to see the result, how it looks in the exported content. Whoops, there it is. I directly jump to the blurred steps to And so does it now look within the exported e-learning. So you can see that it's really blurred quite massively, so that you can't see any information shining through. What must be said in that context is that this is, of course, not some kind of destructive editing of the image. So the source image still remains the same, and the source image, of course, still remains this information or the sensitive information. So any other author that has rights to access the content with the TT Knowledge Force editor is, of course, capable of removing the blur component and just reading the sensitive information. So this is just an option to blur this information for your target audience and not for the authors. We're currently looking into some alternatives to be able to release some kind of destructive blur feature, which really alters the source image, but that, of course, makes it afterwards harder to edit the content and to refresh the content if you really made destructive changes on the source image to be more on the data secured side then. It also only works within the e-learning, so no blurring in documentation or guides, but for just quickly blurring things out in the e-learning, I think it's a quite useful component. If you have larger areas you need to blur, or if you want to set the focus on a specific area within the e-learning, you can also use this component in an inverted mode. So you add the blur component, and if we, for example, say this sidebar here on the left side is the area of interest we just need the user to see, we just place the component over this area, double click on it to see the settings dialog, and select that we want to invert the blur here. And we can just have a quick preview here, and then you can see that everything outside this blur rectangle is then blurred, and you really have the focus and the attention of the user on the area you want to highlight and you want to stand up. If you need the blur component, if you want to use the blur component, you can just download it by now from our docs portal, so it's already available within the current Smart Component release. Any questions regarding blur?
No, not so far.
Okay, then we continue with another smart component, or more or less an update of an existing smart component we already have available, and the update will come with the 2020 R2. It's about the evaluation result page, especially the detailed result page, where you can see how you performed in the different questions after answering them. You now have the possibility with this updated version to jump back to a certain question, to review your result in detail, and, for example, see why you failed if you failed, or what you've answered right if you answered the question right. But again, I think a demo is explaining more than words could do. So we just show you how this component works by providing you a short demo. So I just prepared some questions and a result page within this e-learning. I just started now and go through the questions quickly, answer them hopefully right. Okay, we just leave the dummy text here as it is to answer the question wrong. And the next one, we just answer right again. And if we now come to the assessment result page, to the evaluation page, we see each and every result of our single questions. Don't be puzzled by this little progress bar over here. It's this one is about the whole e-learning, so there are 3 more steps following. That's why it only shows 50%. But this evaluation page is about the questions we've already performed, and therefore this one is more important for us. And you can now see that there is a little arrow pointing back in each row of this evaluation component. And if I want to know, what did I then actually do wrong with the second question, I can now click on this arrow and jump back to the second question to see my mistake. Oh, I didn't replace the dummy text. Therefore, of course, this is the wrong answer. What you might have already seen is this new little button down below here. This wasn't there before when we answered the question, since this is the button that points us back to the evaluation page. And it only appears after I was on the evaluation page once and jumped back to the question. So it's automatically hidden in the first step when going through the questions normally, and is only displayed when coming back to the question to review it. So when I click on this button now, I go back to the evaluation page automatically. And of course, all those little images of this arrow and the arrow of this button here are adjustable to your needs by the famous image strip that you might already know from other smart components to adjust the look and feel of the button to your needs. As I already mentioned, this is an already existing component, this evaluation page component. And if you updated it to the 2020 R2 version, or to the version that will be released with the 2020 R2, you just get another option. So your existing e-learnings won't be affected if you don't change anything. So they won't show this little arrow for jumping back by default. If you want it to be seen, you can go to the options of the component and just check this check mark down below here that this little arrow is shown. And of course, if you want to change the image strip, you can adapt it here and adjust it to your needs. Any question about the evaluation page?
No, not so far.
Okay, then let's continue with the next topic. And this is a topic that is, a step to complete a task we already begun before with the quick access, and which is now completed by implementing it in the TTKF as well. That all the preview windows we have within the TTKF that are opening an external browser are now using the default browser of your system and not the Internet Explorer by default anymore. So you might have mentioned it already, or you might have seen it already when I just started the preview window from the e-learning here. Normally, when you start this little external preview in your existing versions, the Internet Explorer would open and the e-learning would be displayed in the Internet Explorer, no matter what browser you set within your system as a default browser. As you can see, in my case now, the content is opened within the Chrome, since in my system, the Chrome is set as the default browser, and therefore this content is now opened within a Chrome window and not within an Internet Explorer window anymore. And this is also the case for any other preview window we have within the TTKF. So if you are, for example, within process view and you want to preview the processes, and we just changed the default browser, that you can see that it is not hardly connected to the Chrome browser, but we can also say, okay, let's take the Firefox browser here. And if I now open the preview window within the TTKF from here, my portal preview, my publisher preview of this business process tree is opened within the Firefox. So from now on, each and every preview window that is open from the TTKF just takes the default browser of your system. If this is still the Internet Explorer, of course, the Internet Explorer is taken. But if you have another default browser in your environment, then this one is the browser that is taken. So one step more, if you are planning to not use the Internet Explorer anymore, that you are not needing it on your system anymore. Any further questions regarding this topic?
Well, not directly regarding this topic, but maybe before we switch over to the TTPS University presentation, let's take the chance. I just move back to the Blur smart component because I received multiple times one question which reads, so why does Blur not work in the documentation and step-by-step guide, and is it planned for the future to work there also?
Well, unfortunately, the whole smart component engine is designed to enhance and enrich the e-learning content, and therefore we are not capable of adding smart components to the other two views. So therefore, this kind of solution for the Blur problem can't be applicable on the documentation and guide view. Of course, if we are thinking, or when we are working and talking about an upcoming Blur future in a future release. And I already mentioned that we are currently looking into the details of how to solve the problem of really having a kind of destructive Blur. This will be designed like that it also works in all of the three perspectives. So within the e-learning, the documentation, and the guidance view as well. But with the smart component, we just want to offer a quick solution for you to the problem of blurring content. And of course, we know that this component alone on its own can't solve all the blurring issues you have. And so therefore, we are still looking into how to solve it in the near future.
All right, thank you so much. I guess let's just move on.
Okay, then I'll just change to Harald and to the part of the TTPS University.
So I hope you see my screen and you can hear me. Would be nice if you can give me a short feedback.
Yes, we can see and hear you.
Fine. Okay, so I will take over for the last part of this webinar, and I will give you some insights on TTPS University and on the new relaunched version of the TTPS University. For those who might not know, TTPS University, here some information before I switch over to show you how the new design and the new university, some information on what is the university aiming on. So the main goal of the university is to boost user acceptance of the TTPS system. So this is our main focus, to provide authors or other persons information how to use the TTPS system and empower them to a good and optimal use of the TTPS. So this is the main focus of TTPS University, but the content within the university is so deep that you can use it also for experienced users who want to find special information on a certain topic. So you can also delve deeper with the university. And of course, you can use the university to get a certificate for certain topics within TTPS. I will show you this in the university itself. So our idea is with the university to have a new system which is aligned with our performance support activities in the help function of the TTKF system on the one hand, and on the other hand, TTPS University is aligned with our trainings we offer to you from our consultants. So university is like a linking piece between these two activities, so that we want to show you that we have a strength idea of how we can train and how we can train authors and users of the TTPS system. So these few words in the beginning. Now let's have a look how you have access to the TTPS University. As it was for the old version, you also have to the new version access via the home page of TTS. In the older version, it was listed up here in this line, university. Now we changed this a little bit and we have new sections up here, and you find the TTPS University now in the Digital Adoption Solution section, and it's listed here, down here. So you have access to the new version via this link here. And if you start it, then you see here the starting page of the university. And as you see, one of the main new benefits is that you can register and log into the university directly on the starting page. So you don't have to send us your access data and then your data, and then we provide you the access data. That's not necessary any longer. Now we have a self-registration process here, and you can do the registration by your own as a self-enrollment, and then you can start with the university. Another thing I want to focus on is down here you see we have 3 different target groups for the university, and of course the main target group is the authors of the TTPS using the TTPS system. They should have access to all information to TTPS, all the best practices, all the step-by-step lists, all the documentations, all the e-learnings which are within the TTPS University, all the webinars, and all the coaching sessions. That's of course the main part of the university. But we also focus on the tool owner who owns the software in a company, because the tool owner needs a little bit more information on the system. And so here in this, if you sign in as a tool owner, the content is a little bit more enriched than out of the perspective of the author. The main focus here is for example, that you have access to all our additional services we offer around the whole system, where you have to pay for. For the university itself, you don't have to pay anything, it's free of charge. Then there is another group, a third group, and these are the service partners. In our idea, we think that it's important that, for example, trainers or consultants in the market who like to incorporate TTPS knowledge in their portfolio, they should have access to all the knowledge we have around the TTPS system. So our idea is to train these service partners so that they can help you with your projects in creating content, because this is the main goal for the TTPS system, that's having good and useful content. So that's our idea with the university, just to find service partners who are enabled to use the TTPS system to create content if you need it. Okay, so this gives you an idea about our ideas in the background about the TTPS University. But now let's log in and see how it looks like inside. If you want to register here, you use the register function, give in all your data, and then select the role you have, an author, a tool owner, or a service partner, and then finish your registration. Of course, I'm logged in, I'm registered already, so I just log in with my password and my username, and then you see the starting page of the university. The university starts with this select screen or selecting screen for the learner role. So the idea of TTPS University is that you are in a certain usage scenario of the TTKF or TTPS system. And if you want to perform in this usage scenario, you need a certain knowledge, and that's what that's how we structured the start screen. So we identified two main topics which are of interest. The first one is software documentation and performance support. So in this topic, we have 4 learner roles. And the other main topic of the TTPS system is e-learning, creation of e-learning. And there we identified 3 main learner roles here. If you start, or if you are interested in software documentation and performance support, then the first role, the Rapid Author IT recording, is the learner role with which you should start, because this this learner role shows you how to create documents and how to record IT applications. So this is the basic course or the basic learner role for the topic software documentation and performance support. If you finished this learner role, then you have to decide on which next topic you want to focus on. So, for example, you can dive a little bit deeper in the topic performance support. So this learner role shows you how to create content for the quick access with all the knowledge you need. Another topic is the software documentation specialist. This learner role deals with the topics creating of manuals and translating the whole documents into other languages, so that you have the documentation not only in one language, but also in other languages. And the next role, the learner role, is the process modeling master. The topics of the process modeling master are creating processes and linking them to documentations and roles. So this connection of these three main aspects of the process modeling view of the TTKF, how to combine these 3 elements. So if you have started, or if you started with the IT recording, then you have to decide where you want to go next and what's important for you in your certain need, or in your certain need. Then let's switch over to the other topic, the e-learning topic here. Here you start with the Rapid Author e-learning, and this Rapid Author e-learning is focusing on creating documents, of course, and then using existing templates and creating e-learning units out of these templates. Static templates like an introduction templates, or other templates, or templates for creating questions or assessments pages. Then the next step is the advanced e-learning author here, and the topics which are shown in this roles is how to use animations, effects, how to use different kinds of media and media objects, and of course how you can insert audio in an e-learning. So these are the main topics of this role. And the last role, the supreme author, is how to create variants of a document. So if you want to have an e-learning in another language, then you use the variants as the feature of the TTPS to create it, and what you have to do for building up an e-learning unit in another language. And the second topic within this learner role is how you work with parallel paths and the interactions you need to have access to those parallel paths in the e-learning, so that you have another way to enrich an e-learning and to make it to a professional experience. Okay, so this gives you an overview how which learner roles are available, and it gives you an idea how you can work with these learner roles, beginning with the basic roles and then go stepwise further. Now let's have a closer look at one of these roles. I choose the performance support designer, and if you go into the detail, then you see a short introduction up here, text-based introduction, a few information about the prerequisites and the time you needed, and then start with the content. All these learner roles start with an e-learning. It's a short e-learning, around about 5 minutes, just to give you an idea what the learner role is dealing about and what ideas are in the background. And then you have the option or the possibility to use one of the open trainings in here. So you just see here in this selecting menu which dates are available for this webinar. You can select out of these dates one and then just register. Then afterwards you find an email in your email inbox, and you can then access this webinar with this out of this email. Okay, and if you want to proceed with self-studying, then you the online tutorials follow, and here you see you have certain chapters, different chapters here. The first one in the learner role of performance support is providing content. So the first chapter deals with all the learning topics around providing content. You see, you find here e-learning sequences, but also online tutorials with assessments. So these tutorials are courses, and just have a look at how this looks like. These courses are also always structured in the same way. You have the course starts with an how-to chapter, and the how-to chapter shows you as an e-learning and best practice how, in this example, you edit and guide, or how you maintain the context of a document or a structural element. So this e-learning gives you an idea how you work with this topic in the TTPS system, and we recommend to have a look at these short e-learning sequences, and in the parallel you open the TTPS system and try to click the same way through the software just to understand how it works. If you have any questions on this best practice way, you find all the the information down here in the following chapters. So within these chapters, you can go deeper and inform yourself about, for example, how to create a field help with the TTPS, or how to create guides, or how you can contextualize documents and structural elements. So in all these chapters, you find the necessary information around the topics. At the end, you see an assessment here, and this assessment is to make you sure that you got all the content. So this question cover all the main topics of one courses. And if you have accessed or passed the assessments, then it's shown in the overview that you have passed the whole course. I can show you this a little bit further down. You see it here. In here, no, not in the English version, but I show it to you. There are also tutorials without an assessment, so not every tutorial has an assessment. The smaller tutorials like this one here, searching and replacing, you have an you can say, okay, I have finished the course and understood the whole content. And if I check or hit the button and then go back to the screen, you see that here the course is completed. So this is how you see in the overview page when you have completed a course, and the same sign appears in the courses with the assessment here. At the end of a learner role, you find the coaching sessions. This is a service we offer to you just to help you if you have any questions on the content. Here you can join to one of these sessions here, and you are together with other colleagues, and you can ask their questions, and there's a TTS colleague in the session, and you can discuss how you can solve the problem or the question you have. Finally, at the end of the page, you find tips and recommendations how you can proceed in the TTPS University. Here are some e-learnings we recommend, and some learner roles which might be interested for you, and you have directly access to these roles via these elements here. Okay, so I think this gives you an first impression and the first idea how the new relaunched version of the TTPS University is designed, how it works, and how you have access to the system. So to sum it up, with the relaunch of the TTPS University, we have improved the user experience. The main topic is that we have a self-enrollment process in the beginning, and then you have access to all the TTPS University services without any other login process. Then we have restructured the university so that it is tailored to your TTPS usage scenarios. So you find your topics directly on the starting screen, and you can choose in which learner role you want to go. The third point is also an important point, and I can give you the information that we have rearranged the self-studying courses in the background, so that these self-studying courses are harmonized with our training, our on-site training or our virtual training, which is individualized for you. So you can now use university and individualized trainings together, and you have the opportunity to give your authors the possibility to join one of these TTPS webinars or self-studying courses, just for the starting, and then switch over to the individualized trainings from our consultants. We also enhanced and enriched our training material, and in our training material now you find all the small hints here down at the PowerPoint slide, which gives you an idea which course is connected to this certain learning sequence. So this is also a new idea we brought in, and we hope that helps you in using the university and giving your authors a good idea how you find where you can find best practices and new and information about the system. Okay, I hope this gives you an overview to the TTPS University, some insights and some ideas how you can use the TTPS University in future projects. Do you have any questions to the university or to the other topics mentioned before in the webinar?
Yes, there are questions I received. First of all, in general, which version of the TT Knowledge Force or Performance Suite is supported by the new university?
I didn't get it right now. Can you repeat it once more?
Yeah, no problem. So which version of Knowledge Force or Performance Suite is actually supported by the new university in terms of learning material?
The learning material currently is based on the 2020 version, and we will add the new features you saw before in the webinar with the upcoming release. And in our experience, we have the basic content, which is over which stays the same over the last releases. And if there are new features and functions, we will add this with the next upcoming release then to the university.
So could we just say you will always find the learning materials matching the most recent version that we released?
The most recent version, yes.
All right, thank you. Another question which is quite interesting or might be interesting for some of our users: what if you need to register with multiple roles, which means on one hand you're an author, but you are a tool owner as well, or could be also a partner? Is that possible?
Yeah. Yes, that's possible. I show it to you how it works. It's very easy. You use the header up here, and then you have here, you see you are logged in, and you can switch to your profile, and in your profile you find an edit function. And if you want to switch to another role, then just change the entry here and save it, and then you have access to the other role. So we do not have any so you have the possibility just to switch.
Exactly. So no restriction to one particular role.
Yes, no restrictions.
That's great. All right, and another question which deals more with the consumer side of things is: do we provide learning materials specifically for those users who want to get more into how to use the publisher or how to use quick access?
You find within the roles chapters dealing with the end user's view of, for example, the quick access or the publisher. So there is already information in the system or in the learner roles yet. Does this answer the question?
Well,
Or is the
so. I think so.
Yeah, or is the question this that there should be a learner role only for end users? That might be interesting.
Yeah, might be as well the intention, but this wasn't asked specifically in this case. So basically, you can you could just look up what is provided actually within one role and course. All right. So thank you so much. I think we do not have any unanswered questions for now. So to the audience, if you have any questions that weren't discussed and answered during this web session, because we already have to come to an end, unfortunately, please feel free to hand it over to us, to get in touch with us after this session whenever you want, and we will take care of your questions that haven't been answered yet.
Yes, and thanks for attending this webinar also from my side. And I just can repeat the words of my colleague. If there are still open questions, don't hesitate to ask them to us via email or via the existing ways to contact us. Thanks again for being our guest today, and I hope you enjoy the new release 2020 R2 of the TT Performance Suite.
Yes, thank you for joining our session, and hopefully see you around next time.